What is going on, everybody? We have made it to Spring OQ number 2 for the North American Challengers League. Running the Rift, bringing you all the coverage. Yanni and Rare Adam giving you all of the action from a casting perspective. Adam, we have a rematch here of round 1 of OQ1. It's Ole Miss going up once again against the Cosa Gamers. 6th seeded Ole Miss, 27th seeded Cosa. And take a peek at the draft that we have up here. Adam, what do you make of this? Ole Miss getting wacky once again.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the evolution of the drafts that come through from a team like Ole Miss. Not only do they very early pick on that karma, but they opt to flex it as well. Of course, this is just sort of assuming at this point because we're getting this for people who don't know. The game's already been played, but we're going back and basically casting over these once again.
Yep.
The Nautilus Yasuo as that B45 is really interesting because that means that there's no traditional AD carry. Shogo's pulling out Yasuo, which is wild to think about, especially here in OQs where Ole Miss had a great run and they feel so confident in going up against Cosa once again that they're willing to slam down this new pick in the Yasuo bot lane.
Yeah, Colomer went on Twitter and said, hey, listen, we're redoing how they approach draft and everything like that. It's going to be a super fun weekend. They're going to get a little creative. And guess what? They're getting really creative here. Now, we have seen Shogo play melee carries in the bot lane. We saw him play Yone in the Salty Runback, the Halloween Invitational tournament that we were in, the Trick or Treat Invitational. So this is not something that is new to Ole Miss. But on the other side for Cosa Gamers, I like what they've put together. It does seem like they might be lacking a little bit of damage. They've put a Seraphine in the mid lane here. And you got your Udyr in the top lane. Like, that's pretty standard, but I think Ole Miss, they might just have enough damage to just smack Cosa Gamers in the mouth and call it a game.
Yeah, that's what I'm really interested in as well. First and foremost, the fact that Stray is going back to this Cassante that we've seen him pull out so many times as sort of the go-to tank on that top side. You see that you've got sort of this squishier mid bot lane combo there. Yasuo can be more susceptible than most, especially in that early game where you don't have the safety of your range. But nonetheless, they want to give solid frontline. And of note, more knockups. There's 4 knockups on the side of Ole Miss here. So Shogo has a lot of room to play with. It's more so that you worry about their siege potential. Your only range is coming from Karma, and your Uncle Sam isn't going to be dishing out, 500 damage auto attacks every half a second, onto these towers. It's going to be, you get your 1 auto attack in, you slowly chip away at those towers. So the siege might be something to worry about. I'm looking for Ole Miss to really look for absolutely every single fight possible.
Yeah, and it's going to be really difficult because Retrozing, on the Seraphine, right, is going to be able to just, okay, it's like, you want to poke us with your very limited poke? Sure. We're just going to heal up. We're going to be fine. They're going to be ready to scrap under those towers. And Rare Adam, I believe, maybe time for us to get into the game here as we have made it on to Summoner's Rift. Round 1 NACL OQ2 for spring, the final OQ of the spring. Ole Miss versus Cosa Gamers going back at it once again, and Ole Miss had a really fantastic run last time out. Really impressed with what they were able to put together in Qualifier 1 playoffs. A very deep run. They clinched top 4. They did, unfortunately, lose out to Winthrop, but had a very competitive series.
Yeah, already you can see, looking for a little bit of information, Shogo needs to be careful, especially with the fact that Admiral Potato on this Braum can start to stack those up. Shogo actually forced a flash right off the rip, and that's information given over to the side of Cosa, but also some information traded by them by allowing Icelandic Hero, your Uncle Sam, to move up into that top side, potentially look for an invade as well, and it looks like vertical jungling may be the answer for this early game for Cosa. Interesting choice from them, especially considering Shogo wants to sort of have that agency, wants to get a lot of jungle attention, and when you're just sort of giving that away by opting for this vertical jungle, it means that this bot lane from Ole Miss needs to be so much more careful.
Yeah, and without a flash, it's going to be very difficult to be careful, right? You get auto-attacked by Admiral Potato, this Braum, and then you get auto-attacked by this Ashe, and all of a sudden, you are too slow to be able to move, and then you're getting stunned. Like, it is really bad news. They need to be really careful early on now because of that, and as you mentioned, junglers starting on the opposite sides of their map. YPPH, dropping the word, knows that, hey, this is going on, guys. We were pretty sure that this was happening, but we are 100% sure now.
Yeah, and especially with this vertical jungling, that means that Stray will have a little bit more attention from Icelandic Hero you would expect in the early game. It should allow your Uncle Sam to be a little bit safer, but once again, Udyr level 1, just always going to be able to outtrade that Cassante regardless of situation. Stray still trying to go up and look for these trades, and YPPH, this is a pretty poor trade there for Stray. Even still, YPPH will just continue to shove in that wave. Hopefully, it'll allow Stray to sort of pick up most of that XP and bounce the wave back at some point. Potentially set up for Icelandic Hero to show up at level 3.
Yeah, this is a really difficult lane, to be honest. You know, it feels like Udyr, whenever you pick a tank into Udyr just has a field day, right? He's able to just kind of run circles around, do so much damage. See Eon Crystal down here, already at level 3. It's cleared out the bottom half of the jungle. And, you know, Idol and Admiral Potato, they are doing what is expected here against Shogo and Rhino. If you can prevent Yasuo from making an impact at the early levels and, you know, trading health bars, you'll be just fine. Uncle Sam shielding himself to try to get away, but YPPH down here on her own. Icelandic Hero here to help. Root goes down, but the Q can be completed if he wants it. It will be. And now they're going to turn onto Icelandic Hero. They've got the Roots forced to flash out of there. Good shielding there from Uncle Sam.
Yeah, really good stuff from Uncle Sam. Actually,
Uncle Sam
back in.
Oh, ends up going first blood for Eon Crystal. Flash is burnt, though, on multiple members.
Yeah, that's sort of your Uncle Sam getting a little bit greedy, maybe trying to get one extra CS before having to reset. Instead, at the very least, they're able to pull that Flash back in and get in Crystal on the trade. But nonetheless, it was your Uncle Sam's turn in lane, so it ends up being decent in the long run here, able to pick up a Dark Seal and an Amp Tome. So at the very least, Retrozing can't just get a free reset here. At least will be forced to burn that TP, maybe miss a couple of CS for that. But still, making the best out of a pretty bad situation there is your Uncle Sam. You can't hate the play at the end of the day. You get 1 for 1, which is the best you could ask for.
One really interesting thing is that YPPH's roam down means that he's behind in experience compared to Stray. He is going to pick that up right now, but if Stray wants to go and teleport and continue his run of dominance up there now, he will be just fine to be able to do so. So small advantage for Ole Miss up on the top side.
Yeah, minute advantage at that, because now YPPH as well needs to try and shove in this wave, will be forced to burn that teleport, and if Stray has anything to say about it, with the caliber of player that we know Stray can be, could try and prevent that back. Unfortunately, wave a little bit too big. Of course, this bot lane is still in a little bit of a precarious situation. Idle and Admirable Potato, this is not a bot lane you'd expect on a 27th ranked team. It's something that you'd maybe expect up in the or the lower 20s, sorry, high teens at that, because they're very serviceable in their own rights, but Shogo still just sort of left to their own devices, still trying to survive this lane for the time being. Once those team fights come around, once level 6 comes through for both of these bot laners, that's when the action can happen, but Icelandic Hero getting invaded. Oh, wow.
There's fighting going on everywhere here. Aeon Crystal is the one who's going to take a lot of damage. Uncle Sam just trying to cut it out, make sure he stays alive. That shielding going to be so important, but he does go down anyway. Icelandic Hero is able to trade back, but realizing, you know what, I don't really want any more of this fight. That means Retro is able to link up with the bottom lane to ensure that they're okay, but Rhino and Shogo finally getting some breathing room.
Yeah, and this is what they really need. At the very least, what that did is it pulled the bot lane up. Icelandic Hero has so much more damage than Retrozing at this point, considering, look at the items that you've got on the Seraphine. We'll get back to that point.
Yeah, Admiral Potato is going to at least take some damage here. It's a good wind wall from Shogo, means that Idol was not able to trade back.
Yeah, and back to that previous point there. It's just the tier and the Mana Crystal right now. So Retrozing can stay in lane for a long time, but really doesn't have a lot of damage, which means your Uncle Sam has a little bit more maneuverability in this lane. Has that Fiendish Codex already, so a little bit more damage. Stray going in on the YPPH.
Oh yeah, he is going not just in, but he is going all out, and YPPH is out of there. Solo kill from the top laner Stray, who has had a pretty interesting career. Certainly one of the ones that stick out compared to the rest of the OQ players.
Yeah, definitely. You look at someone like Stray, who came from a smaller region as a pro player in the past, solo killed Faker at Worlds. That's the argument that Colomer says each and every time they get into any sort of tip over at Ole Miss. They're like, hey, you know what? No matter what the situation is, Stray has killed Faker at some point in time. But honestly, it's been a good evolution over the last couple of months to see Stray grow with this team as well. We talked about how Ole Miss had some communication issues earlier. They were able to sort of fix those up in time. YPPH should be able to get out, but fighting bot side.
Yeah, Shogo might not be able to. He is a little low. They do land the knockup on Admiral Potato, but you don't want to go in on a 3v2 there. It doesn't seem that great.
Yeah, and of course, it's the answer to the play on the top side of the map. Shogo forced to burn that flash. starting to get to that level 6 mark when they have a little bit more kill threat. And Crystal, that's a Nautilus hook if I've ever seen one. The lollipopping on that is crazy.
It is pretty crazy. It is really interesting Sugar electing to try to burn this wave, right? They want to get this wave shoved in as they know that everybody else on Cosa Gamers has rotated up to go and take this dragon. And on the other side, Isolating Hero just opting to get into that top half of the jungle, so no move for the grubs.
Yeah, no one has really gone for these grubs as of yet, and it's sort of the change that we get to see between OQs. I mean, while I wasn't casting it, I was, of course, observing and producing for all these other teams in the first OQ. A lot of teams, especially in day 1, day 2 of Swiss, were like, okay, these grubs are the most important objective of the map. We will send 4, 5 members up to it. Now people are like, yo, grubs are fake. The Grubhub Grub Dub is so fake. It doesn't exist here. And Icelandic Hero is just going to pick him up because he's got nothing better to do on the map right now.
Yeah, and you know what? I think that's pretty fine, right? They probably realized that, hey, this Wukong took the top side of the jungle. It's a good time to take your bot side of the jungle. Keeps Aeon Crystal down there, so Icelandic Hero can just be like, yeah, you know, this is no big deal. You know, there's no reason why you should be up on the top side. And you saw there, for just a moment, Stray working on getting a second plate. Meanwhile, they're looking to make a play on Uncle Sam, flash for flash.
Yeah, great flash from your Uncle Sam to just avoid any sort of danger there. Last thing you want is that concussive blow to land. You're dead. It's just guaranteed at that point if you're not burning that flash. Even if you flash after you get hit with that, you might be going down. But at the very least, this, of course, affords Shogo a little bit more room. And we talk about this level 6 mark. It is so important. Shogo still needs to be careful, though, is now in a little bit of a 1v2. Aeon Crystal, though, gets collapsed on. Yeah,
Aeon Crystal was where he shouldn't have been. However, Retrozing is in the area. Rhino will have to back off. They don't quite have the damage, but they do defend the red buff.
Good response from Rhino. That's the caliber of play that you expect, just to be able to trust your AD carry. Hey, he'll be fine. It's a Braum Ash isn't anywhere in the same area code. I can go and punish Aeon Crystal for that. It burns the ultimate. No flash was expended from Aeon Crystal, but at the very least, you're keeping Icelandic Hero ahead in this matchup. And looking over at the gold, this is the great part about casting and producing. I can do both of these. You know, your Icelandic Hero is keeping it even, and that's what's important right now, because Lee Sin kind of becomes a kickbot later.
Yeah, he also got first blood. That's a really big thing. Meanwhile, Uncle Sam maybe taking out Retrozing, and he does. Nice cue there. It always feels like you may or may not have the range, but Uncle Sam landing it there. Now an engagement here on the bot lane. Big double knock up there. They are going to go just onto Braum here. Admirable Potato is certainly dead, and Idol can only watch as the support falls.
Yeah, honestly, in that mid lane play, your Uncle Sam becoming your father Sam at that, showing Retrozing who's the boss here on the bot side. Of course, the expected play come level 6. The play might continue, though. Now, Idol and Aeon Crystal, there's a couple members around there. They have more members than they want to deal with at this point, but we'll just protect the wave. Everyone will back off for the time being, but Ole Miss starting to build up that early game lead that you would expect them to do as the 6 seed versus a 27.
Yeah, and you know what I really like about what Ole Miss has done in the first 10 minutes of this game? Aside from the early part where, you know, that Lee Sin gank got a little crazy in the mid lane, they have played a more calm, reserved game than I have ever seen them play so far.
Yeah, and something to note about that is I've had a lot of time to talk to Colomer about sort of the strategies. They actually got an esports psychologist to talk to them a couple weeks ago, just sort of clear out some of the communication issues. Stray going all out. Don't think it'll amount to much. But I think since then, we've seen this more calm, reserved style where Stray on the top side, able to talk a lot more and use that experience to help the team out. Granted, this experience, can he get out of it?
Oh, huge knockup from Icelandic Hero to save his buddy Stray. And now YPPH is the target. Another big double knock up there, and he will take him down. Aeon Crystal, though, may be in a bit of a pickle here. He will be able to run it out. Meanwhile, bot lane hook lands, knockup doesn't, and now a potential turnaround here. Good wind wall from Shogo means that Idol really can't do anything.
Yeah, Idol's been stifled out of this lane, and now Shogo with a CS lead of all things.
That's crazy.
This is the last thing you want to deal with as the Yasuo or the Ashe versus Yasuo matchup there. But of course, just talking about Stray's experience and how much he's been able to communicate in the last little bit, communicates, hey, Icelandic Hero, I need some help up here. KJ, pull up. They're able to find a kill in return there. And Aeon Crystal, ever since those first couple of kills he was able to get, has been absolutely stifled off of this map. The Lee Sin is starting to lose that effectiveness already. It's 11.5 minutes in. This does not bode well for Cosa moving forward.
Yeah, and to your point about the sports psychologist, they pick up the psychologist after GSL, but before top 8. And I think that was a large contributor as to why they made top 4 and why they definitely had a shot to get into those finals. So was a really good call by Coach Collimer. Has been really good for the program so far. I'm excited to see what Ole Miss does moving forward here. Obviously, we can't just say they're an absolute shoo-in, right? Although it seems like it. There's a reason why you play the games. But so far, so great for these guys, right? They're up about 2,000 gold. I mean, again, this is as smoothly piloted an early game as I have seen from them. And you and I have both seen a lot of these guys.
Oh, we've seen a lot of Ole Miss. Major thing to note is, of course, this is what you expect against the 27th seed. Can they translate this further into the GSL? Can they continue to press forward in the same way? Of course, the only real red mark on their history from last Swiss was their loss to Illuminate, Shimmer having an absolutely massive performance. If they can avoid sort of a run-in like that, even if they go 4-1 and they're losing to one of the top teams at the end of the day, that is what you want to see out of Ole Miss. You want them to go 5-0, you want them to go 4-1, and you want them to show that they can make it to those finals and potentially press forward for those qualifier slots at the end of the season. We were just watching NACL before this one, and we noticed some of those bottom-of-the-barrel teams in the NACL looking pretty weak out there. It could be a collegiate conference at the end of the day, because Winthrop's been looking poised, Ole Miss has been looking better than ever, and DSG, no hate, they're struggling, to say the least.
Yeah, they're not looking so good. I had them pegged as one of the top teams at the beginning of the NACL season, and I am very, very sad. I'm sure Ole Miss is at least a little sad that they were only able to secure 3 grubs. You know, we talked about how their sieging is at a premium, really, and you know, those extra 3 grubs probably would have helped out quite a bit, but they will trade the Dragon for it. You see Icelandic Hero and Uncle Sam just teaming up here, looking to make Aeon Crystal's life hell. He is going to be able to hop over the wall, but Icelandic Hero wants to go for the dive here. Minions aren't quite there, so it does look like his ultimate will expire.
Oh, wow.
But Uncle Sam is here for plenty of damage. There is going to be a teleport coming in, but they blow up the Lee Sin first. YPPH is like, yeah, we can't really do anything. Retro Zing said, hey, I'm here, guys. I'm ready.
Yeah, and I think the major thing as well, I want to point out about YPPH's build path here. Went for the Sheen early as Flash for Flash from Rhino and Idol on the bottom side. It means that you don't really have as much beefiness against Icelandic Hero, against your Uncle Sam in those situations either. You can't stand up to them. You don't have MR yet. While you have that armor with the plated steel caps. Oh my god, this is how long it's been since I've casted League. I still call it Ninja Tabby. Ninja Tabby. I'm calling it that no matter what. He has that, but it's not enough to survive that dive. So it's just like, yo, Aeon Crystal, you're on your own, buddy. And unfortunately, that is the price you pay. Admirable Potato, or Icelandic Hero, sorry, on the opposite side will end up picking that Rift Herald. So that will help the siege a little bit. You get that Twitch chat proc if you hop in. At the very least, you get a little bit extra siege power. One-time use
Isn't it only on
deal.
4 or more?
I think you still get Twitch chat if you drive it.
Okay. I'm just making sure, because I know you get more, but I honestly can't remember, right? I know it's super important part, and you know it's my favorite part, right?
We Twitch chat is
here,
the best part of the Rift right now. Ever since they took the Huber statue out, Twitch chat's the best part.
I'm so sad. Why did they take it out? Oh, wasn't it because it could get like kindred marked or something like that? I hope it comes back.
I hope they fix it, because that's my favorite observer trick. Just to hover over the Huber statue, and you can either use it to like really glaze someone up, or you can use it to flame the crap out of someone, which is also just as important.
You got your rusty statue or you got your glazing statue. Right?
Exactly.
Everybody loves glazed statues. Ole Miss still, you know, just steadily increasing their lead. It feels like they're playing a lot slower than they used to, right? They used to play their games at such a breakneck pace. It felt like they wanted to just get done in 20 minutes. Stray is starting to up the tempo here. YPPH has to try to run away, but Stray in hot pursuit. If he lands the knockup, he should have him. The question is, can he land it? Not quite. YPPH able to get out of range. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Admirable Potato, they're trying to dive the tank here. It could be a little bit difficult, but he's out of turret range. He does flash back in. Ashol coming down, does land on the Wukong, but they are kind of split focus. They will try to go to Admirable Potato. Exhaust going down. Shogo between a rock and a hard place. He has to try to find a way out. The turret is low. The turret goes down. Does land a knockup, but Rhino in a little bit of trouble. Double knockup there. Do they want to go in? Huge knockup from Icelandic Hero. Good follow-up, but a huge charm from the Seraphine. Means that a lot of gold is going to go over to the side of Cosa Gamers. If they can have it, they get 2. Icelandic Hero trying to trade back for a 3rd, but he can't quite do it. Uncle Sam does a lot of damage, and he will be able to get 1 before he goes down, but Icelandic Hero will fall. Stray on the teleport, though, will take out Idol. Will not be able to get to Admirable Potato, and when the dust settles, 3 kills for the Cosa Gamers.
It's a great
play.
Fourth
kill, actually.
Yeah, a great response from Cosa Gamers there. The only bad part about it is it ends up being an even play because the tower still goes down. They're still able to press forward their advantages, and YPPH on the opposite side, not really able to punish, not able to teleport in time. This play ends up sweetening a little bit when YPPH picks up this tower, but at the very least, Ole Miss are starting to pick up that tempo that you talked about. Yes, you don't get as many kills. It's not as clean of a dive as potentially you were expecting, but YPPH might be on the wrong side of this play if Rhino's able to CC the Udyr for long enough.
Can they get him? Can they catch him? Trying to get close, and he does land the hook. They follow up with the knockup. This means that this kill, goes over to Rhino. Oh, Shogo is probably flaming him right now.
Shogo's mauling.
Yeah, he is mauling.
That was his kill, and Rhino's just like, oops, sorry, not all the space damages.
Yeah,
he didn't even ignite. It wasn't even like an accidental thing. It was just, too much damage.
There is one thing I want to point out, Adam, that after that dive in the bot lane, I feel like the old Ole Miss would have actually been able to make that play. They felt a little slow, and they wanted to play it too perfectly there, and Shogo ended up taking a lot of damage because it felt like they were hesitant that time around. I think they went a little too off the gas pedal that time. I want to know your thoughts on that.
I think the major thing was they took so long to take that Celestial Oppression shield off. Braum had that for it was just sitting there, and they weren't doing anything. They were playing sort of a game of chicken with that shield, and that just prevented the dive from happening. It allowed enough time, and could that be a virtue of Admirable Potato playing it well? Yes. But now YPPH, you can't really play this one that well.
Oh, he gets hooked after it goes down. That's just insult to injury. More gold into the pockets of Ole Miss. They've regained the lead that they lost after that bot lane miscue. Meanwhile, in the Dragon Pit, Aeon Crystal, does he want to go back in to try to secure this Drake here? He is just going to go for it. Okay. The smite is there naturally. So now Aeon Crystal, if he's able to try to find a way out, that'd be great. Uncle Sam commits the teleport to it. Aeon Crystal is just trying to waste as much time as possible. Yeah, you might have gotten the dragon, but you're going to pay for it with your life.
And my question for Aeon Crystal there is that dragon going to extend the game out 5 more minutes? Are you going to have a chance to get the soul if you pick up this dragon? I think the answer is no at this point. Ole Miss are starting to pick up the pace, as we mentioned. They're winning by 1,000 paper cuts. They're winning through their macro play more so than their micro play, which is something that we're not really as used to seeing. They have great macro, of course, but normally it's Shogo popping off, having incredible solo plays that make it happen. You look at the gold here, and in fact, look how even this gold is spread across the entire team. Stray in the tank v tank matchup, despite that early game, is still having a fantastic time and is just 200 gold off of being the richest member. The 4 carries on your team, the 4 members who you want to have gold, are all within 300 gold. This is a 4-pronged effort. They are... Yeah, I go. You know what? This is RTR stream. They are forking the side of Cosa Gamers right now with this gold lead.
Yeah, they got 4 prongs, no sporks here. Knock up on a YPPH. Sunny Hero does get stunned, but he is going to go in. He's going to land the big knockups there. They're knocking everybody up, man. Like, it needs some contraceptives here in this fight. Uncle Sam off to the side, getting as much poking as he can. It is a 5v4 for right now. The question is, what does Ole Miss want to do with Baron spawning now? They could decide to rip it if they want. It looks like they're heading toward that direction, Adam. They are trying for the 20-minute Baron. They are taking a page out of our flex game book.
Yeah, you know what? Colmer has been in those flex games before, so might be actually using the intellectual property of the quote-unquote flex gamers. Instead, they're going to turn the fight.
Idol's in trouble. Aeon Crystal has to try to get to him. The stun's there. There's so much damage. Retrozing is left all alone on the other side. And meanwhile, Uncle Sam gets a kill in a 1v3. He has leveled up his game. YPPH teleports in just to die because you know he's going to go and get chased down. Admirable Potato can only clear out a ward. And now Ole Miss is like, guess what? It's Baron time.
Yeah, at first you don't succeed.
Potato?
Oh my goodness. How much health?
Uncle Sam is just crushing it.
Yeah, honestly, this is a great performance from your Uncle Sam, and I think one of the major critiques that all of us have sort of shared at one point or another was Ole Miss wasn't able to find sort of the key for your Uncle Sam to find that success. Now that Karma is meta, now that you're able to find some of these safer mid laners, and now that mid lane is so much harder to gank as well, your Uncle Sam has started to step up that game and flourished this season thus far, and I think this makes Ole Miss a very scary team. We look at CLOL of note. You've got the top end. You've got Winthrop. You've got Maryville. which are expected. UST as well. They're up there. They've won their championships, but Ole Miss is now starting to come through as that fourth contender. They're in that sort of dark horse category right now, but they want to push forward and become those favorites as well. If they continue this play, if they could put this play up against one of those top 10 seeded teams in this tournament, they're going to be in great shape.
And you got to remember that they've got the guy who's gone back-to-back in Shogo, and the rest of the team is hungry for that win. You've got Shogo there to tell him exactly what needs to be done in order to win, and everybody else who's just so damn hungry to get a dub, to get and raise that trophy, that this is a team that could be quite dangerous. And you know how much they all care. You know, Uncle Sam, from what I heard, was in tears after their loss to Winthrop in the top 4. Put a lot of the blame on him for that. And, you know, it's really nice to see him come in and play a game. You know, even though, yes, they're playing against one of the 20 seeds, right? They're playing against a team they beat before, but just to come in, have a really solid game on a meta mid laner has to be great for their confidence.
Yeah, and I think as they start to move forward in the Swiss stage, which we will get another game from them at the very least tonight,
Oh, yeah.
I'm interested to see if they can continue this pace of play up. And for full disclosure, this is the recording of their first game. Their second game likely going on right now. I'm curious to see if they're sort of replicating this exactly at this point in time.
Yeah, I didn't even check who they were playing against, so I don't even know who they're playing.
I don't know who they're playing against either. If anyone is curious and they care enough to listen to us and they want to also watch the game that's going on live, we will post their streams after, because I think they have 3 POV streams, which is great.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. And I mean, I've been chilling in Rhino stream a lot lately, and this dude is so smart about the game, man. I think he broke the 1K LP mark earlier today, I want to say. I could go on Twitter and go fact check that, but I'm not really going to. But I mean, an anonymous source has told me that he is one of the smartest minds in that organization. And I believe him with the way this guy approaches the game and how good he is and what other people have to say about them, other high elo players. You know, typically the things you hear about other high elo players are, I hate that guy, he's on my int list. Not Rhino. No, it seems like everybody loves this guy.
Yeah, it's the polar opposite of other CLO supports that we know, Tempos.
No, I thought you were going to say the polar opposite of Shogo, and that's why they work so well together.
Also polar opposite of Shogo, but it's one of those things where, you know, if you're liked in the community, especially as a CLO player, it can really help your brand as well, because CLO, as we've known, has had that sort of, it's always been the tier 2.5. It's always been an option for players. We've seen players like Niles and Iconic make it to LCS. We've seen some of these players translate into NACL fantastic. I mean, Wildcard is literally 4 out of 5 slew. But nonetheless, seeing a full collegiate team make it through and do so well like Maryville has is something that Ole Miss want to replicate. They want to sort of live in the same category as them, because it's really hard to compare yourself to a team like Maryville right now when you're Winthrop, you're Ole Miss, any of the top CLOL teams. They want to be in that conversation, and these performances are what make that matter. Of course, you got to get to top 2 if you're Ole Miss. You have to make it to that next step in order to get enough points to be considered for the summer qualification. Win these games and you're getting free points, basically.
Oh yeah, you know, you want to try to farm points every way you can, and with a top 4 finish, you're in fairly good shape. Remember that in OQ2, the winning team will auto-qualify, so that is one thing to definitely watch out for, and why they're gunning so hard to win this entire OQ, this OQ2, because, you know, if somebody else other than Blue Otter wins OQ2, and Blue Otter has a high finish, that's already 2 spots that are gone, and now you could be on the outside looking in, and Ole Miss is a team that is definitely would be a great representative in the promotion tournament.
And they're in that conversation as well. You know, they finished 3rd, 4th. We can't take that away from Ole Miss already. It's more so that they want to make sure they're getting one of the higher seeds. That's what's important to them at this point, is that they expect to make it to that promotion tournament with a top 4 finish. Assuredly, they would be very close to being able to qualify, barring any sort of crazy performances from a team that is off the board. They just want to make sure that they're getting those higher seeds at this point, and that's what's important. Granted, knowing Colomer, he's focused on each game at a time. He's focusing, you know, one step forward, and just winning this game, winning the next game, making sure you finish the Swiss stage 4-1, 5-0 is his goal at this point.
Yeah, and that's the goal right now for Ole Miss. They need to try to find a way to crack this base. We talked about how Siege leaves a lot to be desired, and
Yeah, we've been
you are
yapping for
certainly
like 5
seeing
minutes.
that here. Yeah, we've been yapping, waiting for them to do something. They
Here
didn't
we
do
go.
much with their Baron, but now they're ready to pull the trigger. As Uncle Sam is up here, and Retro Zing very,
Oh.
very low, but he does get a nice charm
man.
off, and they will be able to kick Icelandic Hero in, and Retro Zing lives to tell the tale. But meanwhile, on the bottom side, that means Stray is able to do some serious damage to that bottom turret. And you know what? If you're going to trade your life to try and take down a structure and get it really low, that's worth it in this kind of composition, especially with the lead they have.
Yeah, and major thing is it is major damage on the bottom side. You know, that turret's not going to heal up much more than that. It's more so that if you have a champion that can siege, that tower's gone. If the Yasuo's down there instead, the tower's gone. It's still very slow and methodical coming through from Ole Miss. Does it really lend itself to Cosa getting back into this game? Looking at the champions they have and where they're at, not really. I really think that the late game from Ole Miss is also better, and they were just able to stomp that early game. It's a 10k gold lead as well, which is sort of the hallmark for this is a big lead, and we should win the game off of this. It's a 90-10 sort of situation. It's more so that it's just taking a while. And now
There's
this
any
teleport.
team that could lose it, though. It's Ole
Oh.
Miss, but a perfect engagement, as I say that, means that they should be able to put the bow on this game. Big double kill there from Shogo. Fantastic engagement from Rhino. And now they just have to wait for the wave to come in because those are 30-second death timers on the jungler and your AD carry. Two very, very important members.
Yeah, the waves aren't in amazing spots right now.
Oh, they're
looking
going
at
to
where-
Baron.
Yeah, where YPPH is, he's just pushing bot lane. Stray, you're against the Braum. He's just like, yeah, let me get my Demolish proc. You stunned me? Aww. I'm just going to sit
Yeah,
here.
look at all the damage that Seraphine's doing, and now it's actually time to fight here. Uncle Sam is going to finish off this turret first. Like, Sherry, listen, you can just do whatever you want. We'll take the turret. I am a little surprised they didn't try to seize that top lane, take 2 inhibitors, and then go for the Baron, but, you know, they did manage to crack the base, and really, that's all they've won.
Yeah, and now they're just playing through 2 lanes. They say, you know what, bot lane, who cares at that point? Yasuo wasn't meant to be in the bot lane anyways. We want to be with the rest of the team. And now, 4 members strong from Cosa, 5 now, are stacked up around this mid inhibitor, and it doesn't matter. Shogo's just able to wail away at that turret. Of note, quietly just became 6-1 and 2. I don't know if it's just because of the Yap session we just had, but he picked up 6 kills in a row after that laning phase.
And we are the governors of Yap here on this stream, Adam. 6-1 and 2. 310 CS, by the way.
Oh,
At
God.
29 minutes. The dude is just farming right now. He is Farmer Shogo right here. He is doing everything. He's doing the most right now, to be quite
He's
honest.
Greg, the farmer.
Yeah.
The very American citizen.
He's playing, yeah, very, very American citizen. You know, don't ban him and his team. Knockup's coming in as the engagement is there. Stray is the one who's soaking up all of this damage, but he's still alive. YPH getting low. Huge charm coming out for Retro Zing. This could be the fight, but it's just not. They just don't have the damage. Uncle Sam wasn't even there as he shows up a little late to the party, but is ready to help clean up with the rest of the team. It's a quadra kill for Icelandic Hero, and despite Cosa Gaming's best efforts, Ole Miss, they didn't even break a sweat with this one.
Yeah, Cosa Gamers were their opponents, but it felt as if Ole Miss were just coasting through the rest of this game after that early game lead they were able to get for themselves. In just under 30 minutes, they're able to collect themselves this W, and great way to start off their Swiss stage here. Under 30 minutes, they take down an old foe in Cosa Gamers.
Yeah, a fantastic win there for the side of Ole Miss. Can't wait to see who they are playing against next. We're going to get that up as soon as we possibly can, as soon as we have the game. Not sure if we quite have it right now, but this does mean we're going to take a very short break to go iron that out. And when we return, we'll give you Ole Miss's second game of the Swiss.
Yeah, I'm keeping it a stack. It might be a longer break.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Listen, this is the best part about being the producer and the caster at the same time. It'd be that way. But nonetheless, we'll be taking a break. We'll be back.